Good morning, Carrie.
Good morning, Kim.
Oh, I'm awake. I'm awake. I'm awake. I'm awake. I'm awake. 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 Awake.
Just keep saying it.
Yeah, but the question is, are they pajama bottoms or real bottoms? So, but I did put on a real shirt, so I'm ready. I'm ready. Yeah.
All you need is a power jacket. Then you can wear anything on the bottom that you want.
Oh. Absolutely, absolutely. News desk ready. Well, news desk ready. It's all about being ready, eh? And that's. I think that that's the one thing is. I've noticed that there's been challenges in people re-engaging through networking and such. Like a lot of people are going, I really don't want to leave the house. I think a lot of us got really comfy in our stretchy pants during lockdown, and the reality is we all had to do everything online. But now there's this drive where
Mm-hmm.
people really want to re-engage. So, you know, having a book is a great way when you feel like I need a purpose.
Yeah.
I need a purpose to go out to these things. Being able to say, by the way, I'm in the process of writing a book. It's going to launch in 3 months. It's going to launch in 4 months, right? That is a purpose. Getting out there, spreading your message with an action. And I think that's what a lot of people are looking for is an action.
Absolutely. And it's whether you're reading it online or you've got the book in your hands, it's something very, very tangible. And
Yeah.
people like we gravitate to what's tangible. So I'm so glad we're here today to talk about it.
Absolutely. I am going to, I've got to just move things around on my computer here. One moment. And what was I going to do here? I was going to do something. Okay. This is what I was going to do. Is right now, everybody can go over. You can click this QR code. It will lead you right over to our web page. And on that web page, you can download the workbook. And the workbook will have all the information for today's. And then what we're going to do is we're going to build that workbook for each one. So at the end, you're going to have all four in this workbook. All right.
Yeah, so
Um,
we're doing this. This is the first of 4 over the next 2 months.
Well, and I love the fact that it's spread out. It's spread out. Are you busy? Are you busy these days, Carrie?
I am just a little bit busy. Yes. How about you, Kim?
I'm super busy. Super busy. Yesterday was one of those days, and it's just like, yeah, but it's good. It's good to be busy because when you're not busy, that's when you know everything starts stalling out. It's like a train, right? You think about a train.
Yeah.
It's always that first bit of track that takes so much work. That's where
Mhm.
literally the majority of the fuel can be consumed is in that first bit of track.
Yeah.
But if we're stopping and starting, we're constantly consuming that fuel. But if you can just get down that first bit of track, the hardest bit, everything
Mhm.
just lays out in front of you and you just keep going.
I feel like I know a lot of people that are stuck at the station. They're looking at the train that says, write a book. And they're like, ooh, I don't know. Can I? Should I? Is it possible? And I'm just like, get on the train.
Absolutely.
Here it goes.
Get on the train. Let's get on the train here. Okay, Carrie, I just sent you a message. Let's just send a reminder out to all the people that reserved through
Yeah.
Bet and just send them our LinkedIn's,
Oh, yes.
and we'll do that. And I'll bring up the code for the book here again shortly. So let's just do this. I'm going to hide that.
Sounds
And
good. And I see someone already scanned the QR code, which is great.
awesome. Awesome. Okay. So today, I don't know if anybody knows this, I'm a wee bit of an extrovert. So Carrie goes, Kim, tell us how we use a book, right? And so that's what we're going to go through today. Today, I'm going to tell you why and how a book can benefit you. And Carrie, next week, or not next week, 2 weeks from now, can you share with us what we're doing 2 weeks from now?
Yeah, we are going to be talking about demystifying how to be a published author because there's so many myths that keep people from doing it. So we're going to go through those and show you how you can make it possible.
Awesome. Awesome. So we'll be sending everybody reminders as to what's coming up, but we're just going to dive right in, and we're going to start out with my favorite thing to do. And I know that my favorite thing to do can be what absolutely paralyzes others. And this is what we were just talking about. It's getting out there, doing that networking. So a book is the most amazing icebreaker. It really is. It's the most amazing icebreaker. If you go in prepared, it's funny because you can go in prepared to a networking event and you can have your icebreaker questions that couple with the fact that you have a book coming up, right? So depending on the networking event that you're going into. So let's say hypothetically, we'll use last night exactly where I was at. I went to we have a facility here in Calgary called Platform, which I don't know how it went up during COVID because I didn't think anybody was downtown in Calgary, but literally pre-COVID, it was an empty lot. 24 months later, it's this gigantic facility with this massive parking garage. So kudos to the people who built it, but it's a really cool, funky tech space. So it's for tech innovators. And I go to this pro tech. Now, I'm not really a tech innovator, and but I go to this event, and in that event, I was able to leverage the I've got a couple books, right? Carrie's been one of them. So we got a couple books. These are number one. I will tell you, I have not done one on my own. However, at the end of this event, I will be doing one. So I'm going to be learning right with you. But I have facilitated two books that have both gone number one in multiple countries. So
4 countries.
4 countries. The second one went 4 countries. The first one only went 2 countries. I should have had Carrie in this first one too. But that gives you something that when you feel like when you're standing in a room full of joint venture financial people and tech developer people and people who are building stable coins and Web3s, and I'm sitting there going, they're talking all this stuff. I have no clue. But when I can say, when they're going, I just need to figure out how to get my message out there, I can say, oh, you should write a book. You should do a book, just a micro book, just something that gives you leverage, right? Um, you know, something along those lines. I did that, and these are the things that came from it. And it was fascinating how many people who have far more degrees than me, and actually were invited to this event. I just crashed it. I'm the unofficial wedding crasher. But the reality is it creates this conversation that can bring people to a middle ground that you're comfortable in. Because what is this? What is something like they interviewed thousands of North American adults, and it was something like 70% say that they want to be a published author. Yet statistically, when we look at published authors, aside from workbooks like the micro workbooks and stuff like that are going out, published authors is less than 6%. So that's a huge gap. And when you say that you've scaled that gap already, it puts this level of confidence in you. So that's the next thing that a book does do for you. It is that authority builder. It is that authority builder. So let's just break down the word authority. It's really simple. The first part, the first 2/3 of that word authority is author. Now, I know a lot of people right now are going to ChatGPT. They put in their idea, they spew out ChatGPT, and then they just, go over and load it to Kindle, And there you go. Now they've gotten wise, just so everybody knows. They actually now have a AI to scan for AI. Just letting you know.
Of course they do.
I love this. I like how meta is the world getting. So when we look at authority building, right? How many? So when we look at like Brene Brown, we look at well, my personal favorite, Mel Robbins, right? Mel Robbins. She's done some amazing things, and the books really can help become a catalyst. They give you a speaking point. They give you a point of entry. A book can be a key that unlocks that authority language around your name and your brand. So James Clear is one of my favorite books, Atomic Habits. It is a 4-hour read, 4-hour read. It's actually a longer read. It's a 4-hour listen. So if you're in Calgary, where I am, it's basically driving from Calgary to Edmonton and back. You can do James Clear book, Atomic Habits. And you should probably do it every single time you drive to Edmonton. It's such a great book. However, James had been on this mission for how long? And then the book comes out. Do you know how long he was out speaking
No,
on
I
the
don't
speaking?
actually. I don't know how long.
Oh, Carrie's going to be Googling something, but yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna
So
start checking.
the reality is he was doing this. Brene Brown, right? People put time in. People put lots of time in. But having that proof of authority is the thing that gives you that thing to be able to show. This is physical proof. Physical proof. I can walk around and tell people all day long that I have 22 years in real estate and I've sold 1,500 houses. But this book, now this is a compilation book. This is one of the leading female coaches in real estate. To be a company with just a few women, but to be in that authorship realm around real estate elevates your brand and your knowledge. So that's Carrie, anything on that? Because you speak on writing all the time. Do you have any questions around or any examples? Do you have any examples that you personally know? Like, I don't know James Clear personally, although I'd love to meet him. I would love to do a stage with
Yes.
him. I think he's amazing. But do you have any examples? Because you've helped a lot of people get their books out there that maybe they got that speaking gig that they wanted, or
Yeah. Oh, almost everyone. Honestly, the the amount of times that someone will come who has so much expertise and is providing so much value professionally, who at first thinks that they can't write a book, and then we work on the book together. They get it out there, and all of a sudden they have people saying, oh, you're a person to talk to about this expertise that they've been building for decades. But it's taken a book to really solidify it in people's minds.
uh,
So there's so many examples, and we had one person in our the last compilation book, Chenille, and she is a highly accomplished businesswoman. She's been building a name for herself, but since she's been in the book, she's overrun with speaking engagements even more than she was before. And she's blown away by how much connection and really beneficial business building has been happening since she's been part of the book. So she's a great example too. There's so many.
she gave a testimonial. If you could just expand upon, like, share her testimonial, that would
You
be
bet.
awesome.
You bet. I will go to it now, actually. 1 second.
I'm just fixing, just so you know, I'm going to take a moment here and fix
Yeah,
the link for the,
because when I click the link, it works. So definitely, we want the link to work. We want people to have
yeah,
um, the
I'm
the
just going to,
information by the end of this. And if it isn't working by the end, we will make sure to share it with you um, by
okay,
the end,
dokie.
because yeah,
Princess
there's
Story Workbook.
today is not the end of how we want to be able to help and support all
And
the
this
people
is
that are
the
here.
beauty. So download the workbook here. I'm going to click this link.
So while you're doing that, I'll share one of Chenille's things that she shared with me about her book. Was she said, co-authoring a book with other women in business immediately expanded my network globally with highly qualified and experienced women from a variety of industries. For my business, the book has translated into more community, clients, and public speaking opportunities organically coming to me, like because people just they hear about the book, they read the book, or they see the engagement on it, and they naturally want to work with you. And what I love too about a book is that it's not all it's business, but it's not all business, right? Because you get to infuse a book with who you are, and some of your story, some of your why. Why do you do what you do? Because as we know from Mr. Simon Sinek, right, the why of your business is what draws people to you, what helps them commit to working with you, or to buying your products, and so on. So a book is the most natural platform, I would say, or one of the most natural, to share a more in-depth understanding of your why and to inspire others, right? Like it's just an endless path of connection. And
Okay.
yeah, how's that? Did you get it?
No, that's good. I am right now just going to connect this, and I'm also going to put it into, let's confirm. Okay.
you're,
Save.
you're
And
what a whiz here. Like I just learned how to make a QR code like 3 months ago.
oh, that's all I've been doing is head down for the last 2 years in technology and such. So, Carrie, if you could click that link and double check that there should be 4 pages in that, and you are absolutely uh, correct, Renee. That was just the cover page. My apologies. It is now there for you.
Oh, there we go. Yeah.
Okie dokie. So, and on with the show. Let me find my notes. Let
So
me find my workbook.
I
Um,
think I would love to hear more, Kim, about when you're networking. How is it different when you have a book versus when you have obviously a need to network as a business owner, but not a book? Because that's networking is tough.
well, it did give me a seat of confidence. So it gave me a seat of confidence. Here's the reality, and I hear this all the time. In fact, I had somebody share this with me the other day. They say that they produced a course, they're specializing in a field, um, but they don't have a degree in that field.
Yeah.
And so I'm sitting there going, okay, you got paid in that field for how long? Because you are intuitive in that field. A degree cannot teach intuitiveness.
Yeah.
It cannot, and that intuitiveness helps you, I think, grow faster and speak authentically. However, that's what I heard, and I hear this from a lot of women.
Mhm.
I do not have a degree in anything. If I was to get a degree in anything, I think I'd want to do it in finance so I can learn how to manage my own money. I'm okay, totally off topic. But it gave me confidence. It gave me confidence. I am by nature an extrovert. And yet the challenge I always had before was I would leave a room after conversation
Mm.
and I would worry that they would find
It
um,
worked. It worked. The
awesome,
PDF worked. Thank you,
awesome.
Renee.
I worried that people would see through me. I would go and replay the conversations in my head. Does anybody have
Mm.
this? Has anybody replayed the conversations
Oh,
after you've left?
oh yeah, imposter syndrome, right? Like
Mhm.
somehow they'll
Yeah.
they'll see that I didn't belong or that I didn't have a right to talk about what I talked about. Yeah, it's a killer.
But
Mhm.
when I have stuff like this and I
Yeah.
have amazing people to back me up and such, I feel more confident. I know I'm going to be able to go into the next book, which will be a singular book that I'm doing on podcasting. I know I'm going to go into that in a really confident space
Yeah.
because I'm already broaching that, and that it gives me confidence. It
Mhm.
gives me maybe what a degree would give others.
Mhm.
What, right? And I know there's a lot of people that are the word pivot, but that transition that's
Mhm.
going on. There's this huge transition going on, and we're seeing people decide to work in their place of passion.
Yeah.
And not all the time does that align with what you went to school for 15 years ago.
Yeah, it's true.
So having that book, because there is, I mean, if we go back to like the 1950s, you would get the kid that would just love pulling apart cars. And he didn't go get a degree on that. He did not go to Votech, but everybody in that community knew that dude
Yeah.
it will get the car going again. You know, that appliance repairman can fix that. That seamstress is the best. And these people did not have degrees, but they were experts and
Yeah.
people trusted them. Sometimes nowadays we need that little added piece. This is my resume. This is
Mhm.
my resume.
Well,
This,
and
right?
you know what's crazy is even when you do have degrees or you have decades of professional experience or something, there can still be a voice inside that convinces you, yeah, but I don't have an English degree, so I can't write a book or something. Like there's always
Yeah.
something that can prevent you. And I think what we've both learned is that, that stepping into the book space and getting that first book, whether it's part of a compilation or your own book, getting it out there, like that is the hump to get over, because then you're in and you're just only going to expand and get better at it. Yeah, what did you say this morning? The first book is like the first pancake.
It's like the first pancake. Just get the first one done. Just get the first one done. Once you get into a groove, it's like yeah, it's like pancakes. The first one's kind of lumpy, bumpy. It's like the first child. That's why everybody should have three, because you'll get it right by the third one. But although I'm the first child, so there you go. So we're going to get into some real meat right now. We're going to spend the next 15 minutes really unlocking how you're going to use this book. We talked about kind of like the that boost, that psychological, that talking point. Now, seriously, you put the time in, you put the money in. A book is not free, just so you guys know. Books do cost money to do. They will either take time away from your work or whatever, but you're gonna, if you're in the States, you have to get your ISBN code. Here in Canada, you can get it totally free. Carrie's gonna go down all that. But the reality is you put time in, you put a little green in. How do you get it back? Front of funnel, baby. Funnels, 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 funnels. We need to get people talking to us. So we have to put out a capture funnel. So, Renee, would you share with me what you do? And then I'm going to create kind of a funnel around what you do. You wait, it's right in your name. Holistic wellness. Okay, so I'm betting you with having what you do directly in your title, you have a pretty good page. You already have a pretty good page. So there's a couple ways that you are a pretty good website. You probably already have a lot of this thought out.
I can vouch for Renee. She definitely does.
Okay, awesome. I'm going to give you a couple more ideas that maybe you have not thought of, but front of funnel, ways to use a book. One, you could have a micro exclusive book that is the woulda, coulda, shoulda had gone into my book,
Mhm.
or post thoughts. Ooh, intuitive massage therapist.
Mhm.
And so you get the intuitive, you get that whole, when I'm talking about people who are in, like, they're in their intuitive space. I always say I am tech taught, not tech intuitive, when people ask about my tech skills. But yeah, that's awesome. And oil education, that, and this goes into that whole kind of healthier living. But so yes, so as a front of funnel for your book. So you do your book based on your expertise, and then you can put a compilation or accompanying piece that maybe is, because I know that you can mix certain oils to create signature scents. A lot of people don't know how to do that. That could be one of the front of funnel freebies. You could have your book, which is beautiful for what we call a tiny offer, right? So if you have something that will leave them wanting more, so provide them something for free, and then use that book as your tiny offer, which then can move them into a larger offer. This is a great way. And there's nothing wrong with talking about money in business, because the reality is we all got to eat, and it
Oh
takes
yeah.
30% more money to actually eat these days. Other things you can do with your book for front of funnel is, so you do your woulda, coulda, shoulda. So this is everything you thought after you published your book, or the conversations you've had after you publish your book that you go and do another book with. Thank you, Mel Robbins. Perfect example of that. A chicken noodle soup, or chicken soup for the soul. Another amazing example of that. Other things you can do with your book is you actually create talking points on the front. You can take a singular perspective or singular chapter from the book. You can actually read it, share it, and then put, this is an exact example. So you can almost put a workbook, but you can do a video workbook. And this does not, you do not have to hire a video crew. You do not have to do anything professional. You can literally, as long as you do it landscape, do it this way. I'm serious, folks.
Mhm.
It's all doable. So use the book for front of funnel. It proves authority. It's an icebreaker. So when you're at an event and you say, somebody goes, well, what do you do? I'm an intuitive massage therapist and an oil education expert. And they go, wow. Oh, and I got a book. And then they go, but you know what? You just mentioned this. I have in my resource library this component, and it can be a piece to the book, right? But this is kind of how you work that language around, right? The whole goal is, if somebody's going to give you their time, see if you can capture their information, get their email, so you can nurture them into becoming part of your sphere, part of your service. You can
Mhm.
serve them.
Yeah, that's what I love most about books, I think, and all the components related to it is every component, yes, it adds to your funnel, but you're always bringing value. You're always sharing
Yeah,
your expertise in some valuable, very tangible way. And there's just endless ways to do that, ways to break down your knowledge into pieces that can be part of your funnel and lead to your book and your business. So, yeah, it's so true.
absolutely. All right. Ha.
Here we go.
This is my favorite one. It can lead to solidifying and creating your desired speaker presence, right? You can land physical stages, you can land virtual stages because you're a published author. Did you know that people who are creating actual events will go to Amazon and will look to see, and they will go to
Yeah.
Google and they will look to see who is a published author in that region. Because a lot of these events, they'll bring in a big guy, right? Or they'll hire a
woman.
keynote, but then they need to fill that stage. And who better to fill it with than a published author, right? Somebody who actually put their message and their money out there for people to see. I am a published author. I have invested in this message. I want to share it with you. So this will get you speaking, as we've heard from Chanel. This will get you speaking. And I'm going to give you guys all a tip. And then Carrie's going to give you a couple tips on how you can find speaking, because Carrie gets paid to speak at many events. That's like, she does this. She's like a pro speaker. Me, I'm the volunteer speaker. I'm the one they call in when everybody's like, oh crap, we got a gap, or we need a filler. I'm the filler. One of the great pro tips out there is to source your chamber of commerce, to send them a resume and continue talking to them. Rotary clubs are also a good option, especially if you can do you can do the 6 weeks prior to your launch, and you can do a micro handout, or you have that front of funnel offer already. You can start collecting those people's information before the book even comes out. And that's such a great way. So I'm going to turn this over to Carrie, because Carrie's launched way more books than me. Go.
So how books lead to speaking opportunities. Yeah, there's endless ways to do it, but I would say in general, when you're writing a book, you have an audience in mind. And that audience isn't just connecting to material like your book in book form. They're also wanting workshops. They're going to events where a bunch of experts are gathered together. They're looking for kind of one-off supportive speakers. So think about your ideal reader. And where are they? Where are they gathering? What are their pain points that your book has some of the solutions to? And then you can start building connections in those spaces. I realized that there are endless readers, for example, who would love to be writers. We like so many readers, like, oh, if only I could write a book one day. And I used to be one of those people too. So I started reaching out to bookstores, book clubs, and saying, hey, I'd be so happy to come and chat with your group. And then that has led to, speaking at in writing festivals and all kinds of things, because finding your ideal reader is completely akin to finding your speaking audience, and the line between those two, it's not much of a jump, and your book is that gateway piece, which makes it really straightforward.
I love that word, gateway. My mother used that on me often when I was younger. I think Nancy Reagan brought that in. But yes, book is a gateway.
Yes.
Sorry. I diverse, folks. Work with me here. Okay. Carrie, do you know who Russell Branson is? He's the
Yes.
ClickFunnels guy.
Mm-hmm.
What does he offer if you sign up for his ClickFunnels program? Do you know what he offers?
Off the top of my head, I don't. Is it a book?
It's his book series.
Ah.
It's his book series, and his book series is created off of all his talks and his education programs. So if you sign up for ClickFunnels today, if you go over there right now and sign up for ClickFunnels, which is, just so you know, going to be a, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 investment, he will send you, for the cost of shipping, his books.
Mm.
So that is
Yeah.
a prime example
Yeah.
of a value add program. When you can offer something that is that tangible, and when he sends the books, like, this is why shipping was like $40 for to Canada. But these are big hardback books. And like they're proven books on how to create funnels and how to, write your copy and things like that. So that is a great example of value add. Value add also, I don't know, I have a workbook that we did for an event a couple years ago.
Yeah.
And so I got quotes from each of the speakers, and then I put a diary, and I put some timing techniques from the Pomodoro technique, and I put my closing thoughts in this, and I made an actual printed book through Amazon, and I put it on Amazon. It's just a great little easy read, but I was able to take that. I had about 30 of them here, still in just sitting here. And then we had a Women's Day event. And in that Women's Day event, I offered this book. So the value, I put it $5, $10 book. I think it's $12 on Amazon. And I offered the books to them. And you know how excited they were? That's the crazy point here is I already had this. It confirms my expertise. It shares my name with another audience. And everybody was excited to have it and share it. And like the books just flew. Like they're like, people were like, is there any more? Is there any more? Is there more?
Yeah.
And it's like, wow, that's the power of a book. There's so many applications. There's so many things you can do. And unlike a marketing material or a calendar or something like that, books are pretty timeless. They're pretty timeless. I mean,
Yeah, it's like they're in our bones or something. The love of books is it's in us.
Absolutely. Well, and even the information, if you qualify it to the time, so Napoleon Hill, which is one of the proven names on wealth building. In fact, they have an entire association and committee around Napoleon. I think Rich Dad Poor Dad is based off of Napoleon Hill's principles. But he did that in 1920.
Mm-hmm.
So how is something in 1920 applicable to Bitcoin today? The basic foundational principles are still the same. Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
So there's so many ways. I'm always open. If you have a question, I love the, sitting, that ideation space.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I grew up so poor, like I could make tuna casserole 4 different ways and make it go a week.
So here's a question. Kim, and I've heard this one many times. I'd love to hear your perspective on it. What about that business owner who, I mean, time is money, right? And the idea of taking time to write a book that, I mean, the writing process of it feels like it's, that's an investment in and of itself, because that's time you're not making money. What do you say to those business owners that see that as a challenge?
So it's going to be pretty straightforward. Either you're going to do it or you're not going to do it, but you have to figure out which way are you going to do it. Mm. There are multiple ways. My personal favorite way is to do a series of interviews with somebody and have them help me write the book, because I am not a writer. And I'm not an intuitive writer. I am a taught writer, and I'm a collaborative writer, meaning I like to take a point of reference and be able to apply that and use that information. Like everything we're doing over the next 8 weeks is going to get reapplied, right? Mm-hmm. So repurpose. So you have to determine, what is my time worth? If I'm $125 an hour, am I willing to pay that to another person, mm-hmm. right, to help me get this done? So you either pay for speed or you put in the time. Mm-hmm. And then if I have it faster, could I make money faster? These are all the things you need to do. But the reality is, all the information is within you for a book. You
Yeah.
just have to decide. And a book, don't do War and Peace, dude. Nobody's going to read all of that. The statistics are against you. I'm just telling you right now.
Yeah, we're
People,
gonna get
yeah,
into that in the 7 pitfalls of writing a book. I think our
exactly.
third in this
Exactly.
series. Because yeah.
Another great way to do a book is to go on several podcasts. And then you go and you download that podcast and you pull out your greatest thinking
The
because
transcription. Yeah.
the transcriptions. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So that's another great way to get it
Yeah.
done. Like I said, you've got different ways that you can get there. It depends if you have more time than you have revenue, then go on, and if you go to the website, I'm actually going to change our graphic. I'm going to put the website up there and
While you're doing
design.
that, I remember something you said to me back when you were talking with me about podcasts. And you said, if you can get on a podcast and talk to someone for more than half an hour about your area of expertise, then you have enough knowledge, expertise within you to write a book. And I mean,
App,
most of us, if there was such a thing, I guess there is, but if there was like a 3-hour podcast about and being able to talk for a long time, we could probably even do that. Like we have
mhm.
so much expertise within us, and if you could talk for that long, you have within you enough to write a book. It just deciding how to do it, what process, how much support are you going to get in the process to make it happen.
Absolutely. And here's so this is what I can tell you. It is 90 spoken words per 1 minute.
Mm,
So if you go on to a 30-minute podcast and you speak 15 minutes,
yeah.
you already have over 1,000 words of your best thinking.
Yeah, and a micro book has less than 20,000 words.
Yeah.
So the average kind of nonfiction book has between 40 and 60,000 words, but you can easily be in the 10 to 30,000 word range and have a really value focused, engaging book. So yeah, talking your way to writing a book is one of my favorite ways, I think, of writing.
It's the only way I can write. I am. So I'm going to put up, this is the QR code for the website is up in the left side. And this is again for the workbook itself. You can also get the workbook from the website itself directly. But if you go to the website, you will see there is a connect with Carrie button. There is do a quiz with Carrie button. There is there's some tips on there for, we've been talking a little bit about podcasts. There's tips on there on the who, what, where podcast. Plus I have on there 2 of the places where you can go for free and post yourself as a guest. If you do this, have somebody help you design your book cover, and you can say it's a working title,
Mhm.
but have a mock book and say, I have a book coming out for, what is that? I have a book coming out for what is the Women's Day in March.
Mhm.
Yes,
March 8th.
International March 8th. So I'm going to challenge you. If you are a woman on this and you are considering writing a book, March 8th, make that your target date. Go out and start telling people that you are an author. That's all I can say. And if you would like to come on, I am on to here. I'm going to quickly put in the chat the, where is it? Hold on one second. Oh,
You're
down
putting in
here.
the chat the ability to join us for
Yep.
a Q&A?
I am
Awesome.
going to put it in the chat right now.
Awesome. And
So-
while you're doing that, I'll talk just a little bit about what comes next in this series. So 2 weeks from now, we're going to be doing this again, and we're going to talk about demystifying what it takes to be a published author. All those myths, all those inner critic voices that say, you know, this isn't for you, even though you have a secret dream of having a book. We're going to demystify that. And then 2 weeks after that, in November, we're going to talk about the 7 typical pitfalls that people go through once they say yes to writing a book, and what can hold them back or what can make it harder than it needs to be. And then the final one in the series, November 22nd, is that you can be a published author this year and how that can happen. And even though it's in November, it's near the end of the year. You can think of it as calendar year. You can think of it as, 365 days from now, but that it is possible and what those steps would be to make that happen.
Absolutely. You know what? I learned once that you should set annually, you should be going through your computer. You should be going through all of these things. And they say, just set it for your birthday. Just say, I'm going to have a date where this is going to be, so I know it's always going to be. And if you have to do something on monthly, pick your birth date. So like the 29th.
Yeah.
There you go. It goes. There's another one. Target your birthday to launch your book.
Mm-hmm.
Just do something. Get out of the station.
Yeah.
Get moving.
Actually, that's a good point. A lot of people choose like the new year. They're like, my book will be ready or something by the new year. That's actually a really tough date to choose because you're coming off of a whole month of, holiday stuff and everything. That's a really hard time to get something done. So you can choose a date that, it feels personal for you, but it also feels like, there's usually like a gap in my schedule, a month or two before that when I know I'll have time to really make this happen. So, yeah.
Well, and I'll give you guys a hint here, a trick on positioning yourself to be a preferred guest or speaker. So whatever your book is, you go and take a look. You look at all the different things this fits within. So massage, I'm picking on you, Renee. Massage therapist and oil education. Okay. Mental health. How many mental health days do we have in a year? Hashtag taking care of yourself. Hashtag ways to prevent. So find all the things, physical health, aging well, post the menopause or postpartum. Like there are so many ways that this works in a multitude of podcasts, of speaking opportunities. Just go do the work and look, just start Googling. It's so easy. Everything is out there. And look for all the different holidays that associate with, the 5 ways that you can integrate into different topics or different events. Look for those holidays, look for those things, and then use those to leverage. So, for example, February, so 14th, intuitive massage therapist and oil education would like to go on couples podcasts to talk about treating your spouse to that next level of care. Talk to Renee Bartelli. I love your last name, Baratelli. That's beautiful. About the
published author.
Exactly. Published author, Renee Bartelli, How to Treat Your Body Better and Smell Better. There you go. Don't use that title. I never should title anything. But that's a hook for February. So then we look at March. What is a hook for March? International Women's Day. What is a March, April? Now we're moving into April. What is a hook for April? What is a hook for May? So really think of yourself as a commodity, as that PR. Be your own PR. Be your own PR.
incredible, even just as you said that, how much your sort of identity as an expert is elevated by saying, you're a holistic wellness expert and published author of the book, and then they give the title, and it's a proof point that we are built to recognize and understand. And being an author, it does take some work, but it's achievable. And then you have this proof point which elevates your professional identity every single time your name is brought up. So, like, the work is worth it. Let's put it that way.
Absolutely. All right, to keep within honoring the time, we're at 52 minutes. So we want to make sure that we wrap this up right in time. So today, to just do a quick recap, we basically, we basically talked about how you can leverage being an author. And next week, we're going to start unraveling what is stopping you from being an author. How's that sound, Carrie? Not next week, week
And
after.
I'm going to put the link for the signing up for the next ones right in the chat.
Awesome. And I think we are good to go. How you feeling, Carrie?
Feeling great. It was so much fun.
Excellent. All right. So I am going to stop this, move that off, and stop that. And there we go.
Thanks everyone who joined us.
All right. You can find Carrie and I both on LinkedIn. I have put you can join us over on the website. Have any questions, just let us know. Until we meet again.